months out, you get left behind. So everybody needs to be cognizant of, what can we do to use technology to go back to basics, right? So that's really important to me, because being in the business 28 years, I remember there was no internet and you were just a sparkle in your mama's eye, and I had to actually do things that other agents can't or won't to get ahead. And when I was like a 19-year-old kid going up against 30-year-old top producers, I had to really figure it out. And technology was my main gig. And as I coach, I'm responsible for 340 agents right now, and I coach one-on-one all week long. So when these people are frustrated, and right now in today's market, most people are so confused with CRMs, how to run a proper Facebook ad campaign, and what to do, what to spend their money on, because they're so, the market's shifting, obviously. Sales are down a lot, and people are starting to back off and cut out their Facebook and any ad spend, and they shouldn't do that right now. They should double it, triple it while they still have the money. So when I coach agents, across the country, their biggest complaint right now is, I don't have a lot of money. My spouse or significant other is shutting down my budget, or I don't have closings coming up for a while. So what can I do to generate income right now? So what I did is I started this How to Double Your Production in 30-Day class, workshop, if you will. And I've been doing it probably pretty much the whole year. We kind of went on a national tour with it, and it started working tremendously. So I really wanted to find out what the agents did. And I found out there was 3 things that they did and took away from this Facebook workshop that are actually working. So I was so fascinated by the results that I said, I'm going to try this too for my recruiting efforts and my production efforts. And lo and behold, it worked for me again, just like it did 3, 4, 5 years ago. And especially with Facebook, right? Facebook algorithms have changed completely. Zuckerberg even said himself, I'm going to make sure that you're not allowed to post on Facebook unless it's video someday. So video became so relevant, right? And everybody's video this, video that. And I'm a huge believer of video, always have been. I have over, 500 videos on YouTube and tons of videos on Facebook and video landing pages, video. That's all fine and dandy, but it wasn't producing the results that the agents wanted. So when we went back to basics, it started working great. Do you want me to kind of dive in on those 3 things?
Yeah, definitely. And while you're doing that, you did mention you've been doing video for a long time. So just so everyone watching, so they know that you're not just making it up, I'm actually going to YouTube. I'm going to find an old video of yours from like 2006. There's one that's so funny with you on the roller coaster, about shorts.
Dude, nobody was doing video back then. That's when Mac first came out with those green screen, really, what do you call that? Whatever it is.
Green screen thing?
Yeah, the iMovie thing or whatever it was. It was so funny. I don't know how you're going to find that, but I hope you don't.
I'm going to find it. I'm going to put it on. So just for
So let's dive in. I'm not watching the live feed, so if there's any questions, let me know. But I'm just going to try to start. So you know how careful I am with life balance and, the 7 F's. And you and I have interviewed and done podcasts and all that. I mean, we don't have time to dive into that now. But the number 2 biggest thing besides life balance turned out to be mindset with the realtors. And we practice mindset all day, every day. We never stop, right? We get up, we meditate, we say our affirmations, we surround ourselves with the best of the best. We go to super high level masterminds, and we just do things that other agents don't sometimes. And that's fine. There's the minutia of life. And, some people haven't been trained and some people just don't have the drive. So what I've been working on with agents right now is when they say, Mike, I want you to coach me, the very first thing I start with after life balance is the mindset. And it's amazing to me that people don't work on their mind just like they work on their biceps or their abs, right? So I tell them, listen, tell me about yourself. Tell me about your life. Tell me about where you're going. And everybody kind of dabbles in stuff. Like, well, I kind of watch some Tony Robbins. I kind of go through some videos. And I started reading this book. And I say, do you realize what you're doing? You're dabbling in life. And to get ahead in life, you have to go full throttle, full steam, and absolutely rock it. And in order to do that, you have to have the right mindset. So interviewing agents, and I'm talking hundreds of agents, I ask them different questions. And what I found out is most agents aren't honest with themselves. And when I say honest with themselves, it really turns out where I say, what did you do today? And how hard did you work? Oh my gosh, I worked so hard. I uploaded photos to realtor.com. I checked on all my files. You know, I did a Facebook ad, and really what they do is when you learn how to BS yourself, this goes back to adolescence, right? You start to believe it. And when you believe what you're telling yourself, you're okay to exude that on others, which is terrible. So if you're dabbling in anything, and let's just say prospecting for this particular live, you can't dabble in prospecting. So if you've ever read that book, Fanatical Prospecting, he talks about how everybody was BSing themselves saying, I prospected for 3 hours today. And he said, let me see your numbers. And they were like, well, I didn't keep track. But then the next day when they kept track, they found out they made 9 calls in 3 hours and 3 attempts. And they were upset that they weren't actually getting there. So he says, okay, let's put you on a dialer. Let's track your calls. Let's and go down the whole checklist. And the next day they were doubling and tripling their appointments and their contact rate. So when you come home from work and your spouse or significant other, your family, kids, whatever, say, hey, how was your day, mom, dad? And you just say, oh, I worked my butt off. I did this and that. Really what you're doing is BSing yourself. So you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to check your daily schedule and say, did I do every single thing to talk to X amount of people that is going to produce the results I want? So I like to sell a minimum of 100 homes a year, right? So that equates to 50 people a day, 5 days a week I have to talk to, right? Not attempts, but actual conversations. And I consider a contact, just so you know, a Facebook message as well. That's the only contact that I think is okay typing back and forth that I've found out that's valuable, even more so valuable than a text or whatever. So the other thing the agents aren't doing is being really transparent. I'll be transparent now. I'm at the home with the gardener and a blower and dogs behind me, so I apologize for that. Fridays are my day off. So I sit there and I go, you got to be transparent with the people around you. So let's talk about that. If you're a buyer's agent or a team agent, you have to be transparent with your team leader. You have to be transparent with your spouse. You have to be transparent with your kids. And for this particular workshop, it was double your production in 30 days. Now, you know you have to do different things to double your production in 30 days. So I said, tell them, be transparent with them. Let them know what the changes are going to be, and be transparent with yourself and say, I'm going to have to give up certain things and I'm going to fight like a warrior for my business. And there's a really good podcast on realestatemarketingshow.com, realestatemarketingshow.com. It's episode 7. I did it like 3 years ago on mindset, and it's changed lives. Like people just say, you know, I never really thought of it like that. So the last part of mindset that I try to tell the agents is compete all out. Like your why typically has something to do with your family, right? So if your why is big enough, you're going to compete all out. The biggest example I have of that is, say, an agent at an open house. Now, I know open houses are the very best way to get leads, right? But what happens is the general public or consumer has learned over the years, like when you go into a dress shop, I'm just looking, and the script they use with the agents is, I already have an agent, right? So most people are saying, well, I'm going to be ethical and I'm going to back off and let that person work with their agent. But that's not true. 9 times out of 10, they don't have an agent. And if they did, they wouldn't be at that open house. They'd be with their agent under their direction at least. Do you agree?
Yeah, and I think you're doing yourself an injustice or disservice by just letting that, just stopping, right?
Yeah.
You should try to make at least an extra effort. That's why you're there in the first place. And I want to just mention something real quick. When I worked for this developer back in like the mid 2000s, and we'd have to get deposits. That was our goal, was to take a property off the market. You have to ask for the deposit. It was like a $5,000 deposit. And the difference between the agents that did well and the agents that didn't do well was the agents that did well would ask for the deposit. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times we worry and we're scared of asking for like the sale, or right, asking for that, you know, kind of pushing a little extra harder to inquire a little bit more.
Or form a commitment in the consumer's mind. Like I don't want to get too far off track, but when I was raised in this business, I would not only get a buyer's agreement, but I would also get a blank check written out for $15,000, and that'd be part of the contract. And I'd say, once we find out where this is going, we're going to write the check. And back then, the checks typically went to the trust account of the company. So I'd say, write it out to Remax for $15,000. And they'd say, why? I'd be, you said you're buying a house, so we're going to buy a house, and this is one of the things we need to do. And if I'm not with you, I can easily present to the seller. All right. So anyways, so back to the open house. If somebody says, I'm already working with an agent, I'm very happy with them, say, fantastic. What if I could show you pre-foreclosures or short sales not yet on the market? What if I could show you a home just like you're looking for that's not on the market? What if I had a list of 75 homes that aren't on the market? Would you see those homes with me? All the time they say yes. So when I say compete all out and use your mindset, remember what your goal is. Remember what your ultimate why is. Compete all out. So mindset is the number one thing that I've found out is the worst problem with real estate agents right now, especially with the market slowing down. Sales are down 25% in most areas. So it's really important that we work hard on our mindset. Number two, the second thing, agents, when I talk to them, and I try to trick them into saying this just to see if they where their mindset is. And I say, why didn't you do this? You promised me last week or last month you're going to do this. And the number one answer for that is I didn't have time. I don't have time. So I'm a time management specialist, right? So we have episode 30 on Real Estate Market Show, realestatemarketingshow.com. Episode 30 is on mindset. And I go pretty deep. It's not super complicated. It's kind of like, self-explanatory things, but you have to write them down. You have to learn them and practice them. So I have this thing that I wrote down. It says, we often talk about not having enough time. Rather than focus on that, complaining to yourself or others about not having enough time, think about what you do have time for and start thinking about that instead. So we've all heard the old adage, thoughts become words, words become actions, actions become habits, then character defines your destiny, right? So if you're one of those agents walking around every day saying, I don't have time, I don't have time. Well, why are there people selling 500 homes a year and they have time working 20 hours a week? Isn't that weird? Like at some point you have to pinch yourself and wake yourself up and say, you know what? I do have time and I need to manage my time better. And there's a lot of different classes. And I do have an episode, it's called What Should I Do All Day as a Real Estate Agent, that complements the time management one. But dude, like you got to say, I have time for that. I have time for that. I will make time for that. It all goes back to where one of my good friends said, you want to come to my wedding in Maui? And I said, no, I don't have time. And then it hit me. I'm like, this is a good friend's wedding. I love Maui. I can definitely afford to do it. Yes, I had time. I made the time. When I got back from a 10-day trip in Maui, my business had increased, right? So I had time. Yeah. So anyways, let's get down to what I promised, the simple, free Facebook hacks that nobody's doing, which they should be doing. So again, to recap, if people are just joining us, as I coach agents across the country, there's frustration out there because ad spend is ridiculous. Placing proper ads is hard. That's why we love Travis Tom so much. He can help us through those things. And then people say, I don't have time to do that. And it just gets crazier and crazier. And then the third thing is the confusion of what CRM to use and how to market it. So what I love about Facebook, it's a CRM. It's all of our database with accurate information in it. So I love it. So I started out by the simplest part with agents that were newer or they already got a lot of stuff going on but wanted more. And I said, okay, we're going to double your production in 30 days if you do this. And again, not only have my agents that I coach proved it, but I've proven it myself in my recruiting efforts and my production. So here we go. Here it is. Yeah, finally, to build up. So the very first thing I do is I ask people how many Facebook friends they have. The average person has less than 2,000 friends, or the average realtor has less than 2,000 friends. So I'm like, why would we have a database of 2,000 when Facebook lovingly gives us 5,000, right? So I'm like, okay, try this, add 20 friends a day. So I don't care if you didn't grow up in that town and you don't have high school friends. If you do, even better, it's easier. But the reality is you have a very strong sphere of influence. And when asked how much of your sphere of influence and prove it on Facebook, most people don't have it. So we go back to the old, Brian Buffini days where they say, make sure you're marketing to your dog walker, your dry cleaner, your car detail guy, your gardener that's blowing behind me. Believe it or not, these people can afford to buy homes. They can refer you business. And why wouldn't you market to them and keep in touch with them? Out of sight, out of mind, right? So add 20 friends a day, 10 of them being your sphere of influence. And trust me, most people have less or over 500 people in their sphere. And then 10 influencers. Now, when I say influencers, it's somebody important in your community. And as I think through my sphere, it's like owner of car dealerships, local politicians, owners of restaurants, owners of machine shops, people that donate to charity, people that are in the newspapers and stuff like that. And people say, okay, well, I don't want to be cheesy adding these people. Well, you don't have to do it cheesily. You find in the local magazine, influencer magazine, every town has them, right? Congratulating Kevin Markarian on being the new general manager of the Ford dealership, or Kevin Markarian donated $10,000 to the Cancer Society. Those are the people you immediately rip out the ad or copy and paste it, put in a handwritten note, send it to them saying, wow, that's awesome, congratulations, handwritten card, put it in the mail. But then more importantly, we want to friend these people on Facebook too. So you don't want to look like the goofy stalker and just say friend request, friend request, friend request. You want to say, hey, Kevin, I was happened to read the LA Times this morning. I saw what you did for the Cancer Society. That's amazing. I'm really into community outreach too. I thought you and I would be good connections. Friend request.
Wow, that's awesome, dude.
It's
what you just said prior to this is, I think, is like so great, just great. And I don't know anyone that's doing it besides you and a couple of other people that are doing things at a high level. And that's what you just said is great. And that's find an influencer in your marketplace, whoever that might be, those local magazines or whatever, and then go into that magazine, cut out the picture of whatever they did, put it in the mail, write a little note congratulating them, and send it. Mm-hmm. That's huge. That's like
kind of funny.
What a touch.
It is. And some of my clients, we laugh when I get on the coaching call with them, and they say, that's so funny because I friend requested them. They ignored my friend request, even though I said something nice. But when they got that in the mail, all of a sudden my friend request was answered. So if you did 10 influencers a day and 10 sphere of influence a day, let's talk about that. You're making 20 contacts and they're legitimate contacts, right? So the second thing I like to do is add people based on friends of friends. So if I went to stalk Kevin Markarian and I went down your wall, I could start seeing who you're communicating with and how important and relevant they are in my community. So then I would go and add 10 more of those. So now we're got up to 30 of these contacts a day, and you're starting to roll, right? That's more than anybody's doing anyways. And this is, again, free, and not only free, but it's most effective. Now, remember, we're building a database. We're building something that we could export, and we could build something that we're actually going to use later on a drip campaign, throw them in your Ylopo for retargeting, all that stuff. So my clients say, dude, I have breakfast, lunch, and dinner with you. It's the craziest thing. I accepted your friend request a week ago, but now you're everywhere, right? So now they're just like, dude, you're hanging out with me all the time, and I'm having a very authentic relationship with them because I am communicating with them. And that goes, you have something to say? Let's get ready.
I have a question for you. And our buddy James Wong from Maxa Design.
Hi, James.
What's up, James? And of course, James posted this question, being the design expert and like, I went to James' house last week, and his house is like an art studio. Like this. So the question is in line with, of course, the design brain that he has, a beautiful design brain that he has. And that's, he basically said, you've got to have a great looking profile and brand if you're going to be adding 20 friends a day. What do you think about that? How important is your own personal Facebook page and what you should be posting?
Everything. Some people friend request me. It doesn't even say who they are, what they do for a living. They have a picture of their dog instead of themselves. If you go to my profile right now, you'll clearly see I'm a real estate agent. You'll clearly see I own a property management company. I have a professional headshot, and I have all my information. If you hide your information, like people won't put their information on a Facebook profile, but they'll put it on a sign. Like, I don't want my cell phone on Facebook, but you're going to put it on a for sale sign. Like let's connect with people. Like, come on. So yeah, that profile is super important. You want to look professional. So let's move on and just get crazier, right? The last thing I wanted to say about that, if the blower is too much, let me know and I'll go yell at it.
You can't even hear it.
Okay. But the last thing I want to say about that is go slow, because Facebook will put you in jail for spamming. So don't do 100 a day. Like I said, 20 a day, and then maybe later on that afternoon, another 10. But as you send messages, it's cool. All right, so the next part is Facebook's algorithm is screwed up right now. So if you go on your Facebook wall, people are going to Instagram more because that algorithm isn't as bad yet, right? So you want to scroll down the wall and find people that you're not normally seeing. And Facebook says, of course, you need to put at least 10 words in to be a communicator or a connection with them, right? So you have to type in, hey, Kevin, I saw you went on your honeymoon last week. That was awesome. I stayed at the Sheraton one time too. You know, I absolutely loved it. Did you happen to go to that place for dinner? That's how you have to communicate. Now, Facebook's going to go, oh, wow, Mike and Kevin obviously are friends or have something to do with each other. So the next day, I'm going to see your post again, right? So the algorithms on people that are relevant in your business life need to be communicated with at all times, because then they're going to reply back, and that's a call to action. And now Facebook says, oh, Mike and Kevin are friends. Even if I just friend requested that general manager of Ford the other day, now they're going to start seeing me. So if they're important to you, start the game, and you'll start to see in your wall, like my wall, I can go down 50 to 100 posts that are from today and yesterday from people that I want to do business with, because I've forced Facebook to believe that we're homies, like we're having beers in the afternoon together. You know what I'm saying?
I love that. Yes.
So it's extremely important. And then what happens is other people say, oh, Mike and Kevin must be friends. Now they reach out to you to friend request them. So when they friend request you, you got to say, look, can they afford to buy and sell a home? Are they in my community? Could they ever refer somebody to me? Or could they ever send an agent to me, right? Mm-hmm. So those are the things that I look for, and then I'll accept their friend request. And the most important thing you can do is not delete friend requests. Leave them unless they're spam, because Facebook goes, he's got 5,000 friends. He didn't want to delete it. Someday he'll accept it, and they're still active on their feed because they're following you now. So all these things are so important, how they come together. Now, the other little hack that I'm doing, because I have 5,000 friends, is every morning I get up and I send birthday videos. So the statistic, I think it was NAR or CAR, somebody did a statistic about how many videos do people get on their birthday. For every 100 friends, for every 500 friends, they get one video. So most people have 2,000 friends. They might get 4 videos, probably not. So I just get up in the morning, mohawk, morning hair, brush. Hey, Kevin, it's Bjorkman. What's up, dude? Happy birthday, man. What are you doing today? I hope you're taking the day off. It happened to fall on a Friday. That's cool. What are you doing tonight? Man, I saw last week. Oh, that's the other thing. See what they did last week. I saw last week you were in Cancun. It looked amazing. Would you recommend that hotel or restaurant? Or I saw that jacket. It was epic. Anyways, happy birthday, dude. Just get back to me and let me know what you're doing. I'm dying to know. You deserve the best. I haven't seen you for a year, but I sure love you, man. I just want to hear your voice.
Oh, man, this is so good, dude. You know what this is? It comes down to
it's free.
It's free, but it's also intelligent.
Yeah.
It's emotional intelligence, what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. It's only 2 hours a day. Everybody can do that. So it's unbelievable, the communication that starts, and the people start to say, oh, by the way, how's real estate? How's the market? Oh, how's your company? Whatever. And then what you do is just reply back to them and say, listen, one thing I noticed, Kevin, after a few messages back and forth, they hardly ever do video back. They just type, thanks, man, everything's good, da-da-da. And I say, hey, listen, I noticed in my database, your home is not on my free seller market watch program. What is that? Oh, every time a home in your exact neighborhood comes on the market, you get an email. Wouldn't it be great to know the market better than the realtors? And they're like, yeah, cool. Just fire me your address and your correct email that doesn't go to spam, and I'll set you up. 9 times out of 10, they're like, cool, thanks, man. Yeah, we're thinking of selling in the next few months, or my neighbor's talking about selling. The conversations that come up are crazy. So now what you've gotten is their cell phone, their email, and you can put them in your database. You put them in whatever market watch program, whether you're using KV Core or Ylopo or whatever, and now you're actually physically marketing to them as a professional as well. So with that being said, now for our last half hour of prospecting on Facebook, we got to go back to our wall, right? And we have to, not our wall, but our friends list. And we have to scroll down our friends list, and Facebook actually uses the same algorithm. They put all your relevant friends first. So you have to, and they don't do it alphabetically. So you have to go down and start seeing people that are important to you, but you haven't talked to in 3 to 6 months or a year or 10 years, whatever. Go down the wall, click on Kevin Markarian and say, What's interesting? So you scroll. Oh my God, little Billy's first day of school was the other day. Holy crap, Billy's 12. Kevin, private message, right? Dude, what's up? I saw little Billy went the first day of school. I cannot believe it. You know, one of our clients' friends go to the same school. I wonder if they're in the same grade. Dude, I saw that car of yours. That's amazing. And just have a little message with them and say, anyways, man, I was just so excited. I hadn't seen you in a while. I just wanted to reach out and catch up a little bit. And then they're blown away. They're like, dude, Mike, what's up, man? I see your life's going great. Everything's cool. Yeah. By the way, I see you're not on my free seller market watch program. So if you haven't gotten that response back for them, this is the ultimate time of year to hit up about 20 a day and just say, Kevin, it's Bjorkman. I saw you. What's up, man? Dude, I really wish we could hang out like we did back in the day. We used to have so much fun. Remember that bar we got in a fight at? Oh my God, that was so cool. and then, hey, listen, I want to make sure you and Mary are on my Christmas card list. Give me your address, man. That's so cool. Never fails. They reply back with the address, and then you automatically put them on the Market Watch plan, and you better send them a Christmas card, right? So then they typically say, what's your address? And now you create this authentic relationship that nobody's having right now.
Right.
Now, okay, so we're up to about 50 contacts a day right now. This is guaranteed to sell you 100 homes a year if you do this religiously. I can track 50 sales a year from my Facebook only, and I don't do more because I don't do it 2 hours a day like I should. I might do it for half hour, an hour, but I'm getting another deal a week from this, and it's just mind-blowing how that works. So, yes, go on.
Listen, you're like you're in the flow right now.
I'm in the mode. Yeah, I'm in the zone.
I feel bad stopping you, but this content's so good that I want to ask a couple of questions. You're like rapid fire. I got in a fight. I'm going here, going there.
Well, I'm trying to do an hour-long class in 30 minutes.
No, we're already over, but that's okay because this is great. So as long as you have the time. My question was, I forgot my question now. Wait, it is, okay. We talked about prospecting, and you're big on time blocking. You know, you are a time, like you said, time blocking or time management expert. Sure, you and I have talked about this a lot. Would you, first of all, count this part of your day as like a prospecting in prospecting schedule? Number one. Number two is, how much time should we be spending on this? Like, I mean, I guess 20.
Well, that's what I just said, right?
Yeah.
Every agent. So if you guys are listening and writing this down, 1 hour a day of self-help, 1 hour a day of skill set, 2 hours a day of previewing property, 2 hours a day of prospecting, and 1 hour a day of follow-up, right? So 2 hours a day of prospecting, this takes 2 hours because I've done it lots of times. But it's the best 2 hours ever. If you do this Monday through Friday, guess what? You're not in the 104-degree heat chasing open house signs in the wind. And if you are, make sure you're doing this at your open house and making a productive day at it, because this is really what matters. And this is how to build the ultimate sphere of influence database. And dude, the referrals and the communications and the fun that comes out of this is epic. There's nothing better in real estate because this is true relationships and you know who the heck you're talking to. And if you have your admin, just kind of keep your database up, slide your Lion Desk or KV Core or whatever you're putting it in, then you can actually start dripping on them as a professional, put them on your blog, emails, whatnot. So, all right, you ready for a little bit more and then we'll be done?
Yes.
Okay. So Zuckerberg also said privacy is this huge thing. We are going after groups. We want to create massive communities or massive amounts of communities that are life-changing for people in their life experiences, hobbies, or businesses, right? So we know Real Closers is a huge group. There's a lot of value in that. But if you create small community groups in your community, things happen like crazy. Like I have Newhall today. I have Santa Clarita in Lake Havasu. I have Santa Clarita side-by-sides. I manage all these groups and they're small, 200-300 people, but I'll still get a deal a month out of them because I don't want all these people as friends. I don't have enough room. I'm at $497, $49.97 every day. But now I can actually communicate and be a leader of a community that people respect and look up to. And they know I'm a realtor. In the group, it says, hi, I'm your Santa Clarita realtor. I also love, basket weaving. And here's our basket weaving group. Add all the basket weavers. And I become the authority. I become the leader of that group and people love it. So naturally, when the time comes top of mind because they spend time in that group because it's one of their hobbies or it's where they live. And people say, well, my neighborhood already has a group. Who cares? Make a better group. Put more value into it. Do market updates, do statistics, do charity roundups, do giveaways, contests. People love that stuff.
One thing on that, people, if they say they already have a group, just ask yourself, how many groups are you involved with? Like most people are not involved with just one group, right?
Right.
And then one other thing, if you're doing this is why it's important to have a consistent online message with regards to your profile, so people know that you're a realtor, right? I mean, it's like if you're doing what Mike's talking about, if you start doing that and you don't have, if nobody knows you're a realtor and they can't Google you and find out that you're a realtor, like that's step one, right? So your Facebook profile and all those things need to be consistent.
Everything needs to be perfectly organized and professional. So I'll give you a case study, and I'm sure she won't care. So Megan Farrell from Flagler Beach, Florida, I was coaching her at Lab Coat Live and out on the beach. It was awesome. I said, look, you just had a baby. Your life is revolving around this baby. Why don't you start your own local working moms group, right? So she starts it. Day 1, like 20 people. Day 2, 200. Day 14, 2,500. She's gotten 4 or 5 deals in the last 30 days from this one group of alone. She's interviewed the town mayor. She has tons of administrators in there helping her. They're doing giveaways. They're spotlighting women-owned businesses that are moms, yoga, restaurants, and they're giving away free stuff. This community is growing so much that she really only has to work this one avenue right now. So everybody can come up with a group like that and be the authority, be the fun person. And she's just literally getting agents calling her all the time. How can I help? And when you're in control of that group, you're in control. If you don't want that agent in, bye, Yeah. And so if this was all you did as a real estate agent every day, 5 days a week, you will for sure sell 100 homes a year, without a doubt. Like, you can be half-assing it and it'd still sell 50, right? And I'm living proof of that. Like, we can track 50 deals a year from my Facebook prospect.
20 contacts a day, right?
25 will sell 50, 50 will sell 100. Okay. So
25 contacts a day, very simple, right? 25 contacts a day, every day, 5 days a week.
50 deals.
Equates to 50 transactions. How long did it take you to start seeing results?
So I've been doing this for a long time. So let's take me out of it. I revisited it, but I already had clout, right? So my agents who are brand new on Facebook, literally the people with the picture of the dog, doesn't even say, or it says they work at Coldwell Banker and they haven't been there for 5 years and they haven't posted anything except a political thing a year ago. Like, I clean them all up and then we start this. And within the first week, they have appointments. The very first week, and it never fails.
Okay, so okay, so you're basically starting a conversation that's personal, that's not related to business initially, and then zero, and then you go for an appointment. I know you said you put them on the seller's market thing.
Right. So that's what happens. So they're always going to ask you about the market, right? Then once you say, I want to add you to my Christmas card list, then they give you your address, and then you say, would you? It's impossible for a conversation to not come up about real estate at that point, right? So I have a friend, my next door neighbor, my mom, somebody is thinking of selling their home. Anybody you talk to on the street, they know at least one person that is going to move in the next 30 days. So if you're making these 50 contacts a day, there's 5 potential people that are going to refer you every single day. So if you go into that with the right mindset, the right attitude, looking professional with the confidence and the professional knowledge, they're going to refer or use you to buy or sell a home. But if you do this 5 days a week, this pipeline builds and builds and builds. So, thinking back to a couple of my clients this week, now we're coaching on, I don't have time again. And I'm like, stop saying that. You have time. Now it's time to hire a buyer's agent. The very first thing they have to do is hire a personal assistant to deal with this, and an admin, not even a buyer's agent yet. But then 2-3 weeks later, they're hiring a buyer's agent and a listing agent at the same time so they can manage all this stuff. So imagine if you're managing these groups, having client events in person with this, combining all this, it's nonstop and it's free. There's no algorithm going against you. It's only working with you. And if you run Facebook ads and retarget them with your listings, it just creates tons of trust. So that's weird. I just talked to Bjorkman the other day, and here's his really nice house in San Canyon he just put on the market. It's just floating in front of me. He must be a damn good realtor. Oh, yay, like, more algorithms. The next day, oh my gosh, he listed a condo in Valencia. Da, 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 da. And people don't realize what's happening with the algorithm, and we're marketing to them very, authentically. They don't realize that they're falling into our web
right
here that we're going to be working with for the next 15 years.
Now, one last little technical question, and that is when you're reaching out to them, and you may have touched on it earlier, but do you reach out to them on Messenger or Facebook, or do you reach out to them on text? Do you reach out to them?
No. Messenger. People will answer Messenger before a text and before an email for sure, if they're online, and most people are during the day, right? But if you only get 3 messages on Facebook a day, you're going to reply to those when you pick up your phone and you're like, oh, it's on Facebook. Oh, I have messages. So people will look at that. But if we know that 26% or less of people are checking their email daily, why are we going to send an email?
Yeah,
I still do, but Messenger is authentic. It's personal. It's private. It's fast, and they enjoy it. You could do video. You could do a video call. You could just say, hey, call me sometime, Mike. You hit the call button right there, and it goes through Facebook audio. So they answer the phone. Oh, wow, I didn't even know Facebook did this. Yeah, call me anytime. I'm always on. So now I have more clients and friends calling me through Facebook audio than even Marco Polo now. So it's like, dude, it's so cool. Like, it's just amazing. So groups, Facebook groups, contacts, everything's through Messenger. Everything's free, and everything is just mind-blowingly simple. And if you take all the minutiae of CRMs out and have your admin do it, now you're having fun with your business. If you're a social person, like most agents, you're having fun, and you're talking, and you're learning about lives, and just business starts falling in your lap. So that, I know we went over a little bit, but that is a huge part to doubling your production in 30 days.
So simple too. That's the beauty of it. It's not complicated. Just get into your Facebook profile, reach out to your friends, connect with them on a consistent basis. And it's just the math and the results speak for themselves, right? So, man, Mike, thank you so much. Any final words before we wrap up? How do we get over you? You're all over the place. I mean, you're traveling. I saw you. You just got finished with a tour all over, traveling, work, doing.
We were in Sacramento last week, going wine tasting Paso. Next week is the EXP leadership event in Vegas. It's gonna be so fun. Over 1,000 people. Week after that is closing table. Week after that, I think I'm in Portland or Seattle, something like that. But I don't want to leave you guys. So make sure you go to my podcast, realestatemarketingshow.com, realestatemarketingshow.com. All the things we touched on, plus a lot more are there. The YouTube training channel is Mike Bjorkman Training, Mike Bjorkman Training. And let me just take you through a journey of how to skip pain and misery in real estate. And that's one of my passions, is to make sure everybody's rich, but having fun doing it, and not spending too much money, and not going through 10 years of something you can learn in 10 weeks.
Love it, man. Love it. Mike, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.